what are the other risks associated with psoriasis? Like, I know it has comorbidities.
Okay.
Right?
Psoriasis is genetically controlled in a sense, or initiated. But although there are some people who, when they come to me, they say, but nobody else in their family has psoriasis. Still, there's a number of them who do give a history of psoriasis in the family. And it occurs, by the way, there's the young version, below the age of 40. And above the age of 40, that's called adult psoriasis.
That actually addresses Penny Lane's question. She had a question about, what about someone getting psoriasis in old age, like above 70, and they never had it when they were younger, and is it curable?
It is still psoriasis. In cases like that, and this is, my own version of treating patients with psoriasis, that when it is an older person, I always look for drugs, especially for hypertension, because several of the drugs can be, or for depression, there's one drug called lithium that is what we worry about because they can induce psoriasis. So getting into, therefore, what
they
are
can
called...
induce psoriasis.
They can, yes.
They can trigger the
development of what we call psoriasiform drug eruption.
There you go.
And in people who have some genes for it will probably go on to true psoriasis and not just secondary to the drug itself, because even after you withdraw the drug, the lesions persist. Which reminds me that the more important thing for us to remember is that although the genes are important, the study on genomes, for instance, that identified the 25,000 genes, was a very important discovery. But shortly after that came the exposome project. And why? Because people then began to realize that the genes may be that important, and they are truly very, very important. But the exposomes that affect those genes and bring out the psoriasis, bring out the various diseases associated with genes, those are as much as 75 to 85% important, or about
what
that
are
number.
exposomes?
Okay, exposomes are the environmental factors that actually interact with the genetic,
Right.
so that then you develop the skin disease, in our case, for dermatologists, or other disease in the body, including the GI tract, the arthritis, and all of that.
So you can actually have diabetes in the family, have it in your genes,
Yes,
but you don't necessarily have to develop diabetes.
that's right.
There are things that you can control in your life, like you can be extremely careful about your blood
Right.
sugar, what you eat,
Yes.
your health, and all of that, and prevent getting it at all.
That's right.
And there are newer studies on genetics, and we're veering a little bit here, but epigenetics to me is fascinating because it shows that behavior can turn on or off certain proteins that can then affect generations moving forward, regardless of what genes are there. So it's all really fascinating. Point being for this, psoriasis, yes, can be genetic,
Yes.
but just because it's in your genes doesn't mean you're
You have to give up.
necessarily going to get it. You can prevent it.
You can, in fact.
And if you don't have it in your genes, that also doesn't mean that you cannot get it, because it can be triggered by certain drugs, etc., etc.
Right.